Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to report a trade.
We have a trade to announce.
Tails.
Let's go.
How about this trade that just went down?
Wow.
Okay, so the rumor's true. Okay, we just traded you. Okay, we traded you to the Indianapolis Colts. All right. So, you okay?
Nah, I'm gonna call my grandmother.
You can call your grandmother? Okay, this hasn't hit the papers or anything like that. Okay, well, why don't we do a little business first, okay? Before you call grandma, okay?
Welcome back in, everybody, to another edition of the Dynasty Trade Show. Thank you so much for tapping into us. We have broken 800 subscribers. I think we're at 802 at the time of this recording on Wednesday night. So thank you so much. You guys have been doing an incredible job of hitting the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for, man? You can't get any of these jersey giveaways if you don't hit the subscribe button. So go out there, hit the button, do us a solid, and be part of an amazing community that we have. We had an incredible Tuesday night AMA with Shane Hallam. Thanks to Shane again for coming on. But Adam, it is championship week. I got 7 teams in the finals. We still got leagues without trade deadlines, so there's a few deals out there getting made. Just that final push to try to win that money. But how you doing, buddy? How your teams fare this year? You got any in the finals that you're trying to make that final push for?
Yep, I'm in 2 finals. I was in 7 playoffs. I had a lot of teams I was building with 23 picks, but 7 teams in the playoffs, only 2 still alive, but I got 2, I think, really good chances to win the title here. So one of those teams that's in it will grade one of those trades. But yeah, you and I both have trades this week. If you're in it right now with championship week, there's basically 2 teams trying to make a push now at this point that will trade for the Crusties, and that's it. Everybody else is thinking 23. Yep. So without further ado, man, let's get into the Dynasty trades. Let's get into you and I making deals, and everybody else made deals. We only had 5 other trades to grade, but like we told you, if you put your trades in our trade section, we're grading them, man. So let's get into it.
Well, let's go, man. All right, we're going to kick off with mine. This is in the original Shit Best Ball League. Looks like I was going to be without the championship game at Tua. No Tua this week. Damn, 3rd concussion, 2nd concussion, however you want to rate it. The man has some head trauma this year. He's not playing, Adam.
Yeah.
And I can't go into a championship game without and let's face it, man, when Tua's been playing, especially in best ball leagues, for the most part, he's been kind of carrying the team. Like, he's been a plus warp guy at the quarterback position for you, just because the rest of the quarterback landscape is pretty dog shit. But Tua's been playing well at times lately. Not as great. Not as great. Last week we saw an amazing first half and then a horrible second half. And coincidentally, that might be right after he hit his head off the ground. Maybe played a whole half with a concussion. But
yep,
that 25 first, man, you know how much I like to collect first multiple years out because you get the discount. But I got to do what I got to do, man. I got to get off Tua. I got to get a quarterback. And to stay within the top 12 quarterbacks, and the top 12 quarterbacks that are actually playing, and I know is going to play, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if Lamar's playing. We don't know if Hurts is playing. Kyler Murray's already out for the year. Like, it is kind of scary season in the top 12 quarterbacks, so my options are limited. I'm not the biggest Dak Prescott fan, and he's burned me before, but he's playing well. That Cowboys offense is playing well. They're putting up points, and I get to stay in the elite quarterback range. And, you know, I knew it was going to cost a price, so, you know, why not ask for Jerick McKinnon?
There you go.
Probably nothing. He's probably nothing, and maybe he doesn't do anything this week, but he's been on a heater. He's part of the Chiefs offense. Fuck it. We're pushing the chips all in the middle with this one. I'm dumping away to a pretty heady move by Dynasty BA. I sent out a couple deals to multiple people in leagues who had top 12 quarterbacks that were available, weren't in the championship game, all kind of structured around this. So this one just got accepted out of the blue, man. No back and forth between me and him. He looked at it, liked it, and I can see it because if I was on the other side, it's also something that I think about doing, right? You pick up a first. Yeah. I get off Jerick McKinnon. You know, I still like Tua. I'm not too worried about his long-term future. All the reports about he may just walk away from the game or whatever the hell's been going on. Like, I'm not that worried. He's still a top 12 quarterback until told otherwise. So I thought it was a great deal, and hopefully it pays off on Sunday.
I mean, you think about it, right? Now, the 25 first is pretty far out, and at this point, like, whether that's going to be late or not, it's far enough out for you, and you're looking to win now. if they're both healthy, the difference in Tua and Dak really isn't much to me. When you take the fact that Tua's not going to play, like if you had to do this deal, you had to add the 25 first to just go get Dak on a championship type team. You're in the title. Like I'm making that move. Even though the 25 first, who knows what's going to happen with that? That value I'll forego to know that I'm getting back a top 12 quarterback in a bad landscape on a team that's in the title this week. And then I think Mike McKinnon, like you said, it's who knows what his long-term value is, but he's got a good matchup, I think, with Denver this week, right? We just saw what Cam Akers did to Denver. Now, Jerick McKinnon isn't going to be a lot of in between the tackles running, but when you look at him the last 4 weeks, Mike, he's been a running back 2 every one of those weeks, and he's had 2 RB1 weeks, depending on the format you're playing at. So, like, to add that guy in best ball into this deal, I think is a huge win for you. If he doesn't make your lineup, who cares? But if he ends up being one of the guys that how many is this one starting? Do you know?
Probably 12 or 13. It was one of the originals, so it's deep. But the other part, the league dynamics of it too, Adam, is you got a shit ton of draft capital, and your team is coming. So, like my window to win this thing before you really start to dominate and become big problem in the league is right now. So again, when it's like a 25 first, man, fuck them picks. Like, I gotta win now. I gotta do this now.
Yeah, I've accumulated a ton of 23 and 24 picks. The window is coming for me pretty soon. So for you to be able to go have a chance to win the shit league for one of us, right? Because last year neither one of us won.
The original.
You got to do it, man. So go get that title. I think McKinnon, like I was getting ready to say, though, 12, 13 starters. If he doesn't make your lineup, who cares in this deal? But if he's part of the reason that you end up winning the title, huge move for you. I think this is a classic move where in the championship seat, I easily want Dak. Tua, I think you're taking some risk just because of the value and what people think of his head trauma, as we'll call it, right? The concussions. Mm-hmm. Like, I was in on Tua. I think it's been very up and down with Tua. I'll be interested to see what his value does this offseason with him not playing as well down the stretch with this third concussion. I'm very in on Tua, but I could see a scenario where people are a little more hesitant with him this offseason. So I like that move for Dynasty BA in the long-term play. But like you said, too, right? If you're not going to win this year, it's going to be tough sledding these next couple of years with the picks I've accrued. But let's get into a deal with mine here, Mike. So what do you think of this deal, man? Because this was in a league we played each other. I think this one wasn't the reason I won, but this definitely helped.
Yeah. Didn't hurt, right?
No.
Didn't hurt you at all?
No.
I mean, I put up a shit ton of fucking points in that league. I just couldn't finish it off, you know what I mean?
One of us had to lose, and I think we were the 2 top scorers on the week. So it's unfortunate we played in the semis.
That always pisses you off, too. When you lose in the semi, like, by far and away, you would have gaped the other 2 people.
Cody, you got lucky you were on the right side, man,
Nick Foles didn't do shit.
Right.
Didn't do shit, but Chuba went off, entered your lineup. Rashid Shaheed had a decent enough game. I don't know if he actually entered your lineup or not. Daniel Jones was one of the top quarterbacks on the week.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, you got off Matt Stafford, who would have given you a 0. You got off Jalen Hurts, who would have given you a 0, and that third isn't scoring points, man. Like, you got at least 2 pieces, probably 3, maybe 4 pieces that entered your lineup. Like, I'd have to go back and look, but the only one out of the deal that didn't do shit was Nick Foles.
Yeah, I was hoping maybe Foles would do something. Now, this to give you dynamics of this league, right? So this is a super flex league. There's no quarterback spot. But there's 3 super flex spots. So you can start up to 3 quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah.
So for me, I had Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, and Matt Stafford, right? All of a sudden, going to play Mike, I'm looking at Justin Fields and Buckall at quarterback. So
that's it. Yep.
I'm like, man, you know what? I already lost to the big homie last year in the OG Bomb Squad. I got to at least go see what I can do. This one went down, I think, the night prior. We had went back and forth. To me, going down from Hurts to Dak sucks. But in a scenario like this, when you're trying to make a championship push, I'll do it depending on what the cost is. I think for me, Mike, and I don't know what it is for you, I'd actually prefer Daniel Jones over Matthew Stafford in Superflex leagues.
So, looking at it, Shaheed didn't enter your lineup.
Yeah, he just missed, right? He was the last guy off my bench.
And you got over like 55 points between Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones in your lineup. and then Chuba got you another 19. So just round up to 20. So you got 75 points, Adam. Your next replacements would have been 9, 7, and 7 and 7.
So I would have lost then.
You would have got absolutely gaped.
Yeah. Yep.
It would have been about 280, which 283 is what I scored to about 250.
Yeah, so I would have lost by 30. Right.
This deal won you a week and put you in the championship. And what some people always, I wrote about it on the Destination Devy newsletter. If you're not tapped in, there's a link down in the description. Make sure you go tap into that. But I wrote about it last week where we kind of ignore the fact where if you win the semis, like you're guaranteed money. Almost every league, I don't know many leagues that don't pay out second place, Adam.
No.
And it's a fair amount. Like generally you'll do like third place or highest point scorer for the year, get your money back or your league dues back. But second place, while it's not first place paying for the next 7 or 8 years, it's paying for the next 2-3 years of league dues. So, so like this actually puts you in the cash regardless of what happens this week. So heady move. Sucks it happened to me, but, I got 7 other chances at it this week, so I guess I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Can't complain too much, but I don't like losing to you. I fucking hate losing to you. I lost to Ben Mason, and I lost to Brett. Like, the 3 people I don't want to lose to.
The trifecta. I mean, I'm only in 2 titles. You're in 7, so obviously I was building a lot of my teams for 23, but I needed this one. Only being in 1 would have really hurt. I think the thing for me, Mike, is my team was first in this league. I only lost 1 game this year. It was actually to you. I never lost against the median. It was a team assembled to win. And when I'm looking at this deal, right, the Hurts to Dak sucks. I actually think Jones over Stafford for me is a win. That's what I was kind of asking, Mike. Is that a win for you in Superflex? Would you prefer Daniel Jones over Stafford?
I had multiple questions about this going in last week, and you kind of get the same ones with the Tua questions this week. Like, what are we doing with Tua? I'm in the championship. He's one of my quarterbacks. It's the same for either semifinals, championship, Adam, and what I talked about on just the last trade, Jalen Hurts. So if I go back in time, like last week, I want to stay within that top 12 quarterbacks who are playing, right? So I know that. Best case scenario, somebody will do it straight up. Like somebody likes Jalen Hurts. Like, if it was me, if I was on the other side, Adam, you'd play on like you're an Eagles fan. I know you'll just give me Dak straight up for Jalen Hurts. Cool. The Matt Stafford, Daniel Jones, I get what Corey's doing, but like I have a lot of concerns if Matt Stafford ever plays football again. Like if he ever just comes back. Like there's a lot of issues. I would definitely rank Daniel Jones above Matt Stafford. If they're both healthy. Like Stafford's played like shit. Daniel Jones has actually been pretty healthy and playing well. The other parts, like the third for Chuba Hubbard, the Nick Foles in best ball, the Rashid Shaheed, like that all, if you want to say that's all worth a third, I couldn't fight you on either side. Like,
right.
I could honestly make a case that late third might be more valuable than Chuba or Rashid
for
or
sure.
Nick Foles,
for
right?
sure.
So when I look at it, I go, man, if you just go DJ and Stafford, if he's a Stafford guy and believes in him and Stafford comes back and goes to another team or stays in LA and they revamp it and try to run it back or whatever the case may be, that's fine. And then, like I said, the Dak for Jalen Hurts straight up, that part made sense on the other thing. Like if I'm Corey, I had a lot of Matt Stafford on teams on teams that I'm trying to get rid of in the playoff.
Yeah.
And nobody wants his ass. Like nobody. So good on you for finding a buyer. And this is just kind of a guess or a gamble on Corey's part, whether or not it pays off. But I understand it. Like if he comes back and, McVay's like, we're going to run it back one more time. You get a healthy Cooper Kupp, maybe they make a move or two here. Aaron Donald says, well, yeah, we're coming back. We're going to try it again. We're not going out like this. Maybe you got like a 2022 Bucks run in it. One more time. May not be the prettiest, but fuck around, get in the playoffs, see what happens. So it wouldn't be the worst thing because Matt Stafford's still a decent enough quarterback and would be a starting quarterback, so has value. And Daniel Jones, we kind of know where he's at. Like he's played well. I rank him higher. I like him, but still, it's still Daniel Jones. He can fall apart at any given second.
Yeah, and that was kind of how I looked at it when Corey and I went back and forth on this deal. We kind of settled on this, right? So Jalen Hurts is a win over Dak, I think, long-term on the Dynasty play for him, right? Now, like you said, if push really came to shove, I was having a hard time doing it. So this is kind of how we settled on the other pieces, and he countered back with essentially Stafford, Hurts for the quarterbacks. Because the main thing here in needing 3 quarterbacks is like, I'm going to willingly go off of Stafford if you're going to throw me back Danny Dimes. So then that third, basically, like you said, kind of covered the Chuba Hubbard and Rashid Shaheed. I actually thought it was a pretty good deal on paper. And for me, the fact that I was able to stay in the high tier and win the game, ultimately get to the title game, that's where I thought it made sense for me. And I think Big Corey, the payoff for Jalen Hurts here could be huge with him coming back and being so good this year. So I liked it for both sides. But
I would have loved to see us both match up completely healthy and see what would have happened. Right?
For sure.
Like I lost Cooper Kupp, wasn't able to get off him for good enough value. So I just, I'm not trading at a super loss. In hindsight, Adam, like if I'm in your position, like if I only have a handful of semifinals and I want some damn money this year, like I'm looking at the portfolio, like I got enough long-term plays. Let me really push this shit all the way in.
Yep.
So it would have been interesting, though, on the flip side, though, if we both would have went into it. You got a healthy Hurts and Stafford. I got a healthy Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. And it's like every time Stafford throws the football, you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Please me to Tyler Higbee.
I
would
almost,
have been a good dynamic.
I would have liked to do the same game script with Cam Akers just running all those touchdowns in so that they're not being passing touchdowns because you're going to win out on those. That would have been awesome. But, it's been attrition all year. So
yeah.
That was our big we basically headed up against each other twice in the semis in back-to-back years, different leagues, 1-1. You gaped the crap out of me in the OG bomb squad. This one was much tighter, and Cam Akers, man, was basically the reason I think I won that deal plus that trade. So
plus that trade, yes, sir.
Yep. So we got another deal here. We got our boy B Hall acquiring Tyreek Hill, Mike, for a 23 first and a 24 first. Now, dynamics here, this is a 10-team league lineup, start 11. Obviously, he's going for the championship push. Given that this is happening in the title game, Mike, I mean, you're talking 111, 112. It's just period. There's no other way around it. It's his pick. So
109, 110.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. 10 team. So 109, 110. I apologize. You're right. So
yep.
Think about in 10 team, 109, 110 value. And then, obviously you're hoping for a late 24 first, but to get this deal with Tyreek Hill, Mike, what say you?
I think this depends on what you believe in Teddy Bridgewater, right? Like, can he get Tyreek the ball? And can Tyreek make plays? And is Teddy going to feed him enough? Or are they going to go more of a run-heavy approach? I mean, in a 10-team league, like you're talking about it, best case scenario, Adam, this is 110 in both years.
Right.
And these are both classes that I think are deep and that we like. Now, I'm not too overly there's not a lot of difference between say the 110 and the 205, you know what I mean, and player-wise,
right,
as of right this moment. But, I mean, you're still talking about a couple good rookies. And then we just got one added today right before we got on, right?
Just happened. Kayshon Boutte's back, man.
So now the clash just gets a little bit more deep. Man, this is tough, man. I don't mind giving up 2 firsts, even in a 10-team league, knowing that they're a little bit better than the traditional 12-team. If this is a 111, 112, right, it's a little bit different story. Not by much, but a little bit different. It's got to really chap your ass that, Tyreek on any given week, you'd feel really good about it if it's Tua, that connection that they had all year. And instead, it's like championship week. Now I'm paying 2 firsts for fucking Teddy Bridgewater. To Tyreek Hill, this is the best I could do. And we may both come out looking like asses no matter what we say about this deal, but Tyreek may go out and score 40, and it didn't matter that Teddy B was thrown to the football. I don't mind the overall process, you know what I mean? I don't mind going and getting an elite receiver, an elite piece for your championship and paying 2 firsts for 100%, push your chips in. I think it's just the Tyreek and Teddy thing that's just I can see this backfired in a big way where Tyreek gets 3 grabs for 30 yards and the Dolphins absolutely suck this week.
Yeah, and that's, what's funny about that's a big piece of this, I think. In the one game, Tyreek Hill obviously has a lower ceiling. There's just no way around that. But, I see a scenario where he's a total dud, and I also see the scenario where maybe they just kind of try to feed him around the line of scrimmage, Teddy Bridgewater, get it out of his hands quick, get it to him. I think needle down in the championship game, but in a start 11, I still think you're going to fire Tyreek Hill up, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. You put him in your lineup somewhere.
Right. And so, I get it from that side, and the fact that it's 109, 110, right? So when I look at, who's going to go there, 109, 110, 109, you might be able to get one of the 3 receivers, right? Because you're going to get Gibbs, you're going to get Bijan, you're going to get the quarterbacks, and then you're going to have the 3 receivers, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, and JSN. So, 109, pretty replaceable. It's not Tyreek Hill, but a good receiver prospect there. If it's 110, you're probably going to get whatever pick of running back you want there, outside of those top 2 guys. I don't mind giving that up. 24 first, obviously, if your team – I think this is the thing. If your team is built really well in a lineup start 11 and 10 team, you want those studs. So, I get it from a process point. I do think, though, that you're paying – you're paying a pretty good price here for Tyreek Hill. I think given the age – I'm confident one more year that he's going to have pretty good connection as long as Tua is there and throwing him the football. I mean, he's showed out this season, right? But it's an older receiver, and you are given 2 firsts, and when it's 10 team, a top 10 pick both years in classes we both really like. I see it for both sides, honestly, Mike, personally. And like you said, if Tyreek Hill wins B-Hall title, he's not going to care. If Tyreek Hill goes in that lineup and duds and he loses – we'll see what he thinks midway through 23, in the offseason, right?
So when I look at Tyreek Hill too, if I take a step back from the championship week and I just look long-term at him, buying Tyreek Hill for 2 late first, definitely something I do on most teams. And I kind of talked about it, alluded to it a little bit, where I'm not as concerned going in how I do ranks or how I value players with age as much, especially if I see a realistic scenario for another 2-3 years of production. With Tyreek Hill, I think you're still going to get that. That offense is good. The connection he has with Tua, even if it's not Tua and they go somewhere else and quarterback and all this bullshit about Tua is true, I think McDaniel does a great job of drawing up the offense and involving Tyreek Hill no matter what. And I can definitely see 2-3 years of good to elite production of Tyreek Hill. If I look at the long-term play, I don't hate that at all. You kind of factor in it as championship week. All right, why not? You'll take a shot. Adam, you could fit him in as your wide receiver 3 if that's the most comfortable you feel about it. And there's not going to be many people that are going to have a ceiling, even with Teddy Bridgewater, like Tyreek Hill, that you can put your wide receiver 3 spot, even in a 10-man league. So,
well, and that's funny you say that, because that was what my last point was going to be. I think this is where, honestly, having the playoffs not be a deadline is a big deal for this trade, right? If this is a wild card team, Mike, and you're not sure that you're going to win that game, or even if it's relatively close, all of a sudden, if this is 107, right, and you lose in the semis, actually this wouldn't be 107. What would this be in 10 team if you lost? If you're
107, 108 in the semis.
Yeah, so I mean, you could be a 106 or something, man. So it's all of a sudden, man. If you were to do this in the wild card weekend, right, a couple weeks ago, and this trade doesn't go your way, all of a sudden now you're okay, my team's not built right. It's a mid-23 first, and now this 24 first could be good. I would not want to do that, right? But the fact that you did this and you're guaranteed to be in the title game, so one, you're already playing for money, right? And that's something you and I talk about. If you have the money, you now have years to rebuild whatever you want to. So the fact that this is a good long-term play, the fact that you could win the title, and that first is guaranteed late, whatever happens in 24, even if the worst-case scenario happens, you're already ahead. So I think, to me, the fact that you did this guaranteed money in the title game makes this brilliant, personally.
The more we talked about the deal, the more I like it. The more I'm on board now.
It's brilliant.
Long-term, short-term, I think it's perfect. And to be honest, man, a good point about it, maybe if this Tua thing and this Teddy B thing isn't happening, maybe this deal doesn't get done. Maybe the other owner isn't willing to part with Tyreek Hill for just this.
1,000%, right? And especially sometimes we've seen people that have the long-term Tua concerns before this concussion, right? Now you have someone really having concerns. I think that's a good point too. Yeah, I like this deal for B-Hall, actually. Fantasy King, it's never, in my opinion, a bad move to get 2 firsts for a receiver, but I think the way B-Hall's positioned, I love that for him. All right, so we have, Mike, as you can see here on screen, 12-team Superflex, PPR, tight end premium, start 12. He is obviously in the title game. He says finalist. I like the way he drew that out. Not just in the title game, I'm a finalist, and he's in best ball.
I mean, it's a couple force for a shitty running back.
Yep. What do we think?
A shitty running back with all things going absolutely against him, other than Derrick Henry probably not playing. Doubtful, doesn't look likely. but he gets a very good Dallas Cowboys defense on a short week on Thursday night without Ryan Tannehill and no threat of the passing game. It's just Malik Willis out there throwing 8 times for 60 yards. So,
Yeah.
Oh, man. But it is just 2 4th-round picks, right? He's a finalist, so we know one of them's the
4-11.
The 4-11. Yeah,
I could care less. Literally 4-11 at the point where I'm in the title game. I don't even care if it is a pulse. I'm fine with it. Even if that's a mid or early first, like why not? I think this is one of those you're foregoing. Like, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that Hassan Haskins has no long-term value. I don't think for most people. No. Derrick Henry's going to play next year. I mean, but this is just, hey, whatever. He's going to get, I don't know, even in a bad situation, what is he going to get, 15 touches-ish? Best ball, why not take the shot? Falls in the end zone, catches a couple balls. Fuck it. You can have my force. This is a very crusty deal, Mike. I mean, this is one of the deals we have to grade. It's crusty. What do you think personally on both sides? Would you do this on the other side too, obviously?
I mean, I had to look up Hassan Haskins for the year too, right? Like, I've seen him back there returning kicks, and I'm going like, what the fuck? Why is this dude returning kicks? He's slower than shit. He's been Derrick Henry's backup for most of the year. There's, you kind of had some Dontrell Hilliard, but Haskins has gotten some run. Adam, he has 11 rush attempts total.
No, yeah, that's what I was going to say. He had 9 in week 2. And since then, Mike, think about this. He's had 1 carry in 2 games for 5 yards and 8 yards. So
he's got you a total of 12 fantasy points on the entire year.
Right.
12.
Now, the one good thing, though, I will say, Mike, is the last 2 games, even with Henry playing, he's got 2 catches apiece. All right. So maybe there's like 4, 5, 6 catch upside that just is gross, but whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's not a good matchup. He's not long-term player, but you're also not giving up really anything that matters.
I don't know the league dynamics, right? I made a deal for Jerick McKinnon, and I'm not touting Jerick McKinnon, but sometimes even if you put like 2 draft picks together, even if they're forced in a best ball league, somebody would be like, Jerick McKinnon is probably nothing. Let me just get out of this fucking guy right now. Like 10 times I'd rather have Jerick McKinnon this week
right.
Chiefs offense than Hassan Haskins. Man, there's got to be some other running back that I could have explored. Like, I think this guy who's selling Hassan Haskins is just capitalizing a little bit. Like, let me just get something for this turd. Like, this is the only time he's going to have plus value. Let me try it.
And
these picks really don't fucking matter, to be honest. Like, they don't. It's just kind of a whatever deal.
I mean, the way I look at it, too, because we're not in this league, right? Like, this is our boy Go H Devil. I've seen him making deals in here all the time. For all we know, it could be like, yeah, he's in the finals. Best ball, like, nah, I'm not giving you anything for them force. And he's like, here, like, can I get Hassan Haskins? Someone gave it to him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really hate it, but I'm probably with you where, like, I just hope if you Go H Devil, the one thing I would say, I don't know what you've done, but I would have probably sent a bunch of offers out before I made this and just made sure, like, they're all declines. Like, tried 10 running backs north of this first and then seeing what you could got. And if that's not the case, you want to throw these force away on a team like this, I'm all for it in best ball, honestly. But I would like to know, maybe, for yourself in the future, if you didn't do this, like, just try 10 running backs north first. And then if they all are declines, fine. Here's your Hassan Haskins. I'll do it.
Send out spam offers, or you send it out for fab so you can try to get Shane Zylstra. right. Something along those lines. Something you might actually be able to slot in somewhere. I don't know. Hassan Haskins will probably run for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns or something tomorrow night, and we'll look like idiots, but whatever.
We've already probably talked about that deal too long because it's Hassan Haskins for 2 force. But, hey, I mean, listen, honestly, in best ball, like, that deal's really crusty, but that's the type of things you got to be thinking about, especially if you're in the title game already in the money. Like, who cares about a couple force? I'll take a dart throw on whoever that is. So here we got, Mike. This is a 12-team Superflex lineup. This is Garrett Dactyl. He is receiving Patty Mahomes, Mike. 12-team Superflex lineup league. For Trey Lance, Romeo Dubs, Desmond Ridder, a 23 first, which is his own. Now, Mike, when I dropped this, I hadn't even seen this trade before, but I was just reading to you as I'm pulling it up. You're kind of watching me set up the trade show. And I said, trade has been accepted and is under review period. And now I know why. The league this is a sleeper only for this trade. It's like, wait, what? This is way too good to be true. Mike, this is insane.
Dubs, I kind of fought back against it at the beginning of the year where people were too high on this dude. Like, I never saw it. I didn't understand about it. I wasn't investing capital. You remember when he was going for a second? Like, what the fuck are we doing, man?
Right.
Why? So almost a zero in this deal. Desmond Ritter's horrible. Absolutely god awful. And Trey Lance, we have him at 13, right? But it almost feels like default rank for his quarterback, right? We think there's upside there. We have injury concerns. We haven't ever seen it. We just don't know. But everything below him is just so old or gross or has played like shit. So he just kind of feels like he has to be there. Like he just has to. Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 or number 2 quarterback, no matter how the hell you want to slice it. And I think he's really come out and established this year when we disrespected the shit out of him and put him at 3 that, like I'm the number 1 or 2 guy. You don't ever talk about me as number 3 ever again. And then it's his first. It's not even an early one. It's the 108 or 109. Holy Santa Claus shit, man.
12 team. This is 111, 112. Mike, so that's what I was going to get to, right? Think about this, okay, for a second. So you have Trey Lance, which I think is polarizing, but going into year 3, given that Frisco's played well again without him, highly polarizing prospect, right? And at this point, like we talked about this on the 40 Chess with Ray, what's crazy is this is going to be the first time Trey Lance plays a lot of snaps, hopefully, and it's going to be like a make or break season for him possibly, right? So you've got a wide question mark at quarterback coming back. Romeo Doubs, 12-team lineup too, especially, Mike. Like he's not a roster clogger, but I'm not a guaranteed starting this guy weekly. I'm not going to put him in roster clogger territory.
No, but I'm doing it. I'm doing the Scott Connor. Fuck this guy. He ain't top 50, so he's a roster clogger. Get the hell out.
But here's what he's definitely not. And I get what you're doing, but he's definitely not an auto start. Okay, so like he's probably at worst a decision in like what do I do with this guy weekly. Desmond Ritter's not a decision. You are not playing this guy in Superflex,
unless you have to.
And in Atlanta, Mike, like, dude, I think there's a very good chance they're going to get something else to replace Ritter. And then, Mike, when you talk about picks, like this is Kendre Miller, Jane Hyatt, Michael Mayer range. Mike, Patty Mahomes in 12-team lineup? I don't care. He doesn't say how many you're starting. I don't care if it's start 9, start 50. This is ridiculous. This is in the championship week. Holy hell. Trey Lance has not played football since week 2.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, he's not in the championship. He lost last week. So.
Oh, did he? Okay.
So this is the 109 or the 110, however it shakes out record-wise. So
Got
he's not getting
okay.
his first championship push.
All right.
Lucky for him. Lucky for the rest of his league, because this should have got vetoed.
Even still, Zach Evans, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, maybe. All right? That's what you're looking at.
But Adam, like, if I take out Dubs and Ritter, right, just pretend they're not even in there because they're really not. Just don't even include them. How high does that first have to be for you to come off Patrick Mahomes for Trey Lance?
Wouldn't do it.
At all, even if that was the 101.
Nah. Because it says lineup. If it's his best ball, I'd probably do it for 101. Like if you gave me Bijan and Trey Lance, I'd probably risk it. But even then, Mike, like in best ball, like I could be looking next year at Bijan if I don't make moves from there. You know what I mean? Like it's risky, dude. Like it has to be very high for me to even start thinking. This is Patrick Mahomes. It's not like I think you said it best. Patty Mahomes, I think, was like, honestly, this whole offseason, it's like, man, y'all are really drafting me at 103? Like, when did I not be the 101? I'm still the 101. Like, this is the 101 in my mind in Superflex drafts. Like you said, at minimum 102. Period. We have a bad quarterback landscape, and this is a young quarterback that's highly valuable. Like, I don't know, Mike, in lineup, would you trade Trey Lance and would you trade Patrick Mahomes away for Trey Lance in the 101 in lineup?
The 101, yes. The 102, no.
I wouldn't even do it in lineup for Bijan and Trey Lance because it's so much risk. Now, I get that there's upside to it, but like if that is Trey Lance in his rookie season, I get it. But man, I don't know how many people are going to buy Trey Lance anymore. He doesn't have that same shine on him. I may not be able to move it as well. And if it flops, I'm stuck holding a bag of shit.
I still think you're going to see people do stupid shit in startup drafts with Trey Lance where he's going to go in the mid-second. He's going to go at the late
Very
second
possible,
just
yeah.
because the quarterback landscape is that way. If that's the case, man, and people are still in enough on Trey Lance, I still think I can move him, and I have Bijan. Like, yes, Patrick Mahomes is a god, but you know how much I love to tear down in deeper lineup leagues, 12-team leagues, etc. Patrick Mahomes is an absolute unit, but people are going to go ballistic for Bijan at some point, right? It's kind of just lurking there. People are, not really shifted in there. We haven't got to see him. We talk about with Ray, like what we're going to do at the quarterback position and, the super flex. And if Anthony Richardson gets drafted here, if Will Levis gets here, what happens if they don't, Adam? Like, what happens if Anthony Richardson is not a first-round pick and Will Levis isn't taken until the back part of the first round? And,
Right.
People aren't as high on Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud as they should be. Like, it's Bijan, and people will be right back on this running back train, especially if he comes into the combine at 215, 220 and runs a 4.3, right? With his production profile, it'll be like, yep, Dynasty RB1, locked and loaded, first-round startup pick. I'm going from the 101 or the 102 to, the 108, 109, and picking up a shot at Trey Lance. I can get behind that. Like, I don't hate that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. In 12-team, so it's not 14-team, right? So in 12-team Superflex lineup leagues, I'm not doing that, and because I saw him like too many times this year in startups where I trade back the typical, like I'm gonna get out of 101, 102, 103, and I get into the second round and my third round even, and I'm giving back the first and whatever. Like, it always backfired for me. I think this is one where like you would have to be very risk tolerant to take Trey Lance, in even with the 101, knowing it's a running back. Now, if it's like 14-team league and I'm going to get Trey Lance and then maybe I'm going to lean into another quarterback, I might be able to get a little more behind it a little bit. But man, for me, Patrick Mahomes is in that tier and lineup. Like, I need more than, even though it's Trey Lance in a high first, I need more than that back personally. Like, I just would rather have the safety of Patrick Mahomes there.
I get you.
But even still, right?
I think at some point people are going to do really stupid shit for Bijan, right? Like,
I don't disagree with that too. Yeah. But
people are talking about you're going to be disappointed, but you can see a path where he gets drafted in the top 5, top 10 to a good offense. Like the Eagles have that top 5 pick, top 10 pick, depending on where the Saints finish. You imagine an offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and Bijan Robinson, and Nick Sirianni wants to establish Bijan and actually uses him more than he ever used Miles Sanders. Like, people will go ballistic for that.
Sure.
And especially if he comes out and has that athletic testing that we all think he's going to have, right?
Yeah.
The scenario of running backs who are, damn near 230 pounds and run 4.3 40s is very small, very, very small and very elite.
1,000%. Now, if this is Joe Burrow for that, I'm in. But
I get you.
Patty Mahomes, Josh Allen, I'm not doing it in lineup. And now here's the last part about this, right? This isn't Bijan Robinson. This is not even close. This
Correct.
is 109. This is outrageously bad. So
we had to talk about the hypotheticals because it doesn't matter. I just wanted to see how far we could push it before it started to make sense and we'd have a discussion, because we're not having a fucking discussion at 109, 110.
And we're split. So we're split at 101. Right, so that's what would have to happen for us to split. So this is a country mile.
We spent more time analyzing the hypothetical trade than the actual trade, because the actual trade was god
bad. All right, Mike, you really want to get into it. Let's go 1 QB mindset here real quick. Not that it matters because it's player for player, but 12-team, 1 quarterback, start 8 lineup league, Mike. So think 1 QB and shallow. I mean, it's really start 9 if you took the Superflex spot away, really.
It is. It's still gross, though.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, you just say start 8. You're just like, ugh. Neither? Can I go neither? If I got to choose, man, I guess maybe if I'm in the championship right now, like Zonovan Knight has a good matchup. If you're ready to be hurt again, maybe he slides in at your running back too. Like, God, I hope you didn't make the championship and have to use Zonovan Knight this week, but good luck to you if you did in 1 QB.
Lineup start 8, Mike. There's no way. If you're in the championship game and you're starting Bam Knight in start 8, man, you have gotten so lucky, right? Like, there's just no way.
Listen, man, there's still that little bit that I still like about Chase Claypool, even though he's done like nothing. Nothing. He hasn't done shit since he's got to Chicago. He hasn't done shit for like the last like half year he was in Pittsburgh. It just, I don't know, man. If I got to pick between the two, I guess give me the wide receiver, though.
Yeah.
You know, he's roster clogger too, man. But so's Bam Knight. Like in a start 8, Adam. Like the Scott Connor, the Eric Finneck approach, I bet even those guys wouldn't just like any running back on a 53. No, because they're fucking horrible. Like you don't want to be starting these guys. Your team is god awful at a start 8 if you got to start Bam Knight in your championship game.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're talking about, right? You're in this format, unless you have a really good one, you're only going to play 2 running backs. So in a small condensed lineup like that, like even the hero RB, zero RB type approach, it could work if you hit the right one really well in RB2 spot. But man, like this is a format where you really want to have studs. And I'm looking at 2 guys that aren't studs. They're not even close. And I guess what I'll say is Chase Claypool was a decent pick, has very, good traits. The Bears, for whatever reason, didn't use him, but they used their own second-round pick on the guy.
Yeah.
I'll take Claypool here. I'll be honest, though, Mr. Shy Guys, this is probably a good deal for you because I think Bam Knight is going to turn into dust again when Brees is coming back, when he's still a Jet, when Michael Carter started to take the backfield back from him some, and he hasn't looked as good these last few weeks. I think it's a better move to take Claypool. Personally, what I would have tried to do before I did this was I know it's one quarterback, but I would have tried to get a pick of some sort, man. Like, give me just leverage pieces that don't have this cloud of filth all over him that Chase Claypool does. Like, Claypool's starting to become next year early. If he doesn't do anything, like, it's over. Like, it's completely over.
I don't know where, generally with a lot of these quarterbacks in 1 QB leagues, when you draft them, in rookie drafts, they're going in like the second round, maybe the early part. Some maybe late first for some people. But there's 4 of them, and I wouldn't mind like getting something in the 3rd round in a 1 QB league and taking a shot on the quarterback, know, especially like an Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, who it's like if I hit, now I actually have a difference maker in a couple of years at a position, because I don't think Chase Claypool is ever going to be anything for you. You're going to push the button on and feel good about, and I sure as fuck know I wouldn't feel good about starting Bam Knight.
No, Bam Knight.
I'd feel good about starting. I'd start Bam Knight if I was tanking, trying to get the 101. I'd feel good about that.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. It's a gross one. Maybe that wasn't available to you. Like I get shooting your shot on the upside of Claypool if it happens with Fields next year, but like it's also with him. I think both of these guys could be looking at tremendous down arrows all off season. News of Brees coming back. Claypool hasn't done anything for us. The Bears are going to be looking at other things. You're not going to see him do anything on the football field until the off season. So gross one, man. Gross one to finish it off. But this is championship week, man. What do you expect? We're some of the only leagues that are out here actually making trades.
It is. A lot of trade deadline leagues. Grow up. Welcome to the show, man. It's like having a trade deadline in your league is kind of like these people who split pots in championship weeks. Like, I'm with DB. I'm with the man Dynasty Barry on this one. We don't split pots around here. We don't split pots around here. But the one thing we do disagree on, DB, is we don't have trade deadlines. Come on. We're adults.
Listen.
Most of us.
We all put money in. We all are able to admit that there are bad trades that happen in Dynasty. Who am I to tell you not to trade during championship week? If you're a wild card team and you want to make a crazy trade thinking you're going to win it all, and you give someone the 107, who am I to stop you? Somebody just made a great deal, and it could have been you if your trade deadline wasn't closed. So open that thing up next year, man. Trade deadline should be abolished.
Yeah, you got to put the pressure. I'm trying to put the pressure on you and Cody in that league, right? I didn't make the championship, but you both got highly valuable players who aren't playing sitting on your bench. I'm putting the pressure on to see who's going to cave first and buy my crusty vets. I
mean, I have a feeling Cody will cave. I'll be interested to see what the price of acquisition is for some of these guys if a deal gets done. I sent back a counter that got an auto decline, so I know Mike's trying to go for the
we're going for the throat.
Yeah, he's going for the FU because you beat me. I'm in 3rd or 4th place, so you're gonna pay for this title. I like what's going on though, man. This is the dynamics, right? Someone's out of the playoffs now. They're trying to build for next year. It's how it works. I think everybody should be too. I hope smaller trade show here, but hope some of these deals helped you in your process. Mike, I think ours were some of the better deals in the week here, but there were some good deals there, man. If you're not in the title game, you're thinking future. If you're in the title game, you're thinking now. If you're Gyrodactyl, you're thinking both. I'll take Patty Mahomes. I don't care if I'm in the title game or not.
That man fleeced the hell out of him. Congratulations to you, buddy. I gotta go see if Patrick Mahomes is that cheap in some of my other leagues, because I could send that junk all day.
That is league altering for a long time type shit trades.
Good Lord.
Way to go, Gyrodactyl. If you're new to the show, please go down like Mike talked about below. We're over 800 subscribers. Go down, hit the subscribe button for us. If you found it valuable, leave us a like and a comment. Let us know what you thought of the trades. If you want your trades featured here on this show, patreon.com/South Harmon. $1 a month gets you in the door. The Shithead Trades channel. You can drop your trade in there. Be like everybody else here. The only 5 trades we had of the week, because your trade deadline isn't off. Let us know what the trades are. We will grade them here on the show. Other than that, man, that's all I got. Mike, anything you got before we get out of here?
That's all I got, man. Just kind of judging by the way the landscape is, too, this probably will be taking a week or so off here from the trade show here relatively shortly. Championship will be wrapping up. I know my man, he needed a little bit of downtime, a little time to recharge some batteries. Yeah, man. I already got that. I already got that week. Because I had to work nights. So, but yes, it's been a long, grueling grind. And this damn season just keeps taking so much from us. So many injuries at the worst times. And championship week is no different, right? Austin Eckler, Jalen Hurts maybe, Lamar maybe, Derrick Henry now out. I don't know how many teams I have Tua. Derrick Henry on where it's just like, son of a bitch.
They're snatching souls, man. They're trying to take every last one before we get up out of here. So,
a week break could do us real well.
Yeah, just
to find my place is zen.
Some mental clarity, you know. I've had the relatives over here still. The Southwest canceled their flights. They're still here. Mike, I'm ready to win 2 titles and take a week off, man. That's what I'm ready to do. But we will be back, even if it's not next week, doing Dynasty trades the following week. We appreciate everybody tapping in. Hope you guys had a great holiday. Happy New Year. And unless it's first Mike and myself, Cody, that you won your fantasy title. We appreciate everybody. We're out of this thing. Peace.
See ya.